Yo, what's up, guys? Today we're on a mission to unlock our best selves. My For You page has been blowing up with self-improvement tips lately. It's like everyone's trying to level up their life. But let's be real, not all advice is created equal, especially when it comes from the wild world of Reddit. So, being the adventurous soul that I am, I decided to take matters into my own hands. We dove headfirst into the depths of Reddit, sifted through countless threads, and emerged with 10 of the most upvoted self-improvement tips. Some sounded legit, others, not so much. Are you ready to dive in? Let's do this. Alright, first up we've got the 2-minute rule, and let me tell you, this one's all about crushing procrastination. We've all been there, right? That mountain of tasks just staring you down, making you want to crawl back into bed. The 2-minute rule says, if you can do it in 2 minutes or less, do it now. Honestly, going in, I thought this one was going to be way too simple to be effective. Like, come on, 2 minutes? What can you really get done in 2 minutes? Turns out a lot more than I thought. We're talking replying to emails, putting away dishes, finally hanging up that picture that's been sitting on the floor for weeks. The small stuff adds up. Did it magically transform me into a productivity machine overnight? Not exactly, but I will say, there's something surprisingly satisfying about knocking out a bunch of those little tasks right away. So, did the 2-minute rule work? I'm giving it a thumbs up. It's definitely something I'm going to try and incorporate into my daily routine. Setting a timer for just 2 minutes can make a world of difference. You'd be amazed at how much you can get done in such a short amount of time. Share this rule with friends and family and see how it changes their productivity too. Start small and watch as those little victories build up to big changes. The 2-minute rule might just be the simple yet powerful tool you need to conquer procrastination once and for all. Next up, we're diving into the world of gratitude journaling. Now, I'll be honest, this one felt a little, cheesy at first. Like, I get it, being grateful is important and all, but writing it down every day seemed a bit much. But the Reddit thread swore by it, claiming it could boost happiness and reduce stress. People shared their personal stories, and it was hard to ignore the positive feedback. So I grabbed my trusty notebook and decided to give it a shot. Every morning for a week, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. It became a part of my morning routine, right alongside my coffee. Could be anything, big or small, from epic sunsets to my dog's infectious energy. Even the little things started to stand out. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, it started to grow on me. I began to look forward to this quiet time of reflection. At first, it felt forced, like I was just going through the motions. It was hard to find new things to be grateful for every day. But as the days went on, I found myself actually paying attention to the good stuff throughout my day, looking for things to be grateful for. It made me more mindful and appreciative of the little moments. Alright guys, brace yourselves because this next tip is not for the faint of heart. We're talking cold showers, people. Apparently, icy blasts of water are like the ultimate life hack, boosting energy, improving circulation, and even strengthening mental toughness. Let me tell you, the first time I turned that knob all the way to cold, I almost chickened out. It took every ounce of willpower to actually step into the stream. And yeah, it was brutal, like being slapped in the face with 1,000 ice cubes. But then, something strange happened. After the initial shock wore off, I felt this surge of energy, like someone had just injected me with a shot of pure adrenaline. Now, I'm not saying I've become a full-blown cold shower converter or anything, but I definitely see the appeal. Tip 4. The Pomodoro Technique. Time management or torture device. So, for all my fellow productivity enthusiasts out there, this next tip is right up your alley. It's called the Pomodoro Technique, and it's all about working with time, not against it. Basically, you break your work into 25-minute chunks, separated by short breaks. The idea is to maximize focus and prevent burnout. Sounded simple enough, right? I'm usually pretty good at staying on task, but those Reddit threads made some bold claims about this technique. So I set my timer and got to work. And honestly, it was a game changer. Knowing I only had to focus for 25 minutes at a time made it way easier to resist distractions. Plus, those short breaks were crucial for recharging and coming back to my work feeling refreshed. Tip 5. Saying no more often. How I learned to set boundaries and not feel guilty. Alright guys, let's talk about boundaries. Setting boundaries is crucial for maintaining our mental and emotional health. We've all been there, right? Agreeing to things we don't really want to do, just to avoid disappointing people. It can be exhausting and stressful. Well, this next tip is all about learning to say no more often and prioritize your own well-being. It's about putting yourself first sometimes. Now, this one was tough for me. I struggled with it for a long time. I'm a naturally agreeable person, and I hate letting people down. It felt like I was being selfish, but I knew I needed to get better at setting boundaries. It was essential for my own peace of mind. So I decided to put this tip to the test. I made a plan and stuck to it. For a whole week, I challenged myself to say no to any request that didn't align with my priorities or make me genuinely excited. It was a real eye-opener. And you know what? It was liberating. I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. At first, it felt awkward and uncomfortable, but the more I did it, the easier it became. It was like building a new muscle, and the best part, people were totally understanding. They respected my honesty. It turns out saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who values their own needs and well-being. Tip 6, the power of positive self-talk. Can you really hype yourself up? Okay guys, get ready for this one because it's all about the power of positive self-talk. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lysander, this is starting to sound a little too much like a self-help seminar, and trust me, I was skeptical too. I mean, talking to myself in the mirror didn't seem like my style, but the more I read about it, the more I realized how much our inner voice impacts our thoughts, feelings, and actions. So I decided to give it a shot. Instead of focusing on my flaws and insecurities, I started consciously replacing those negative thoughts with positive affirmations. Things like, I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough. Tip 7. Reading for 30 minutes a day. Will it make me a genius? Now this next tip is one I've always struggled with. Reading for 30 minutes a day. It sounds simple enough, right? But with our phones constantly buzzing and endless streaming options, finding the time and focus to sit down with a good book can feel impossible. But the benefits of reading are undeniable. Increased knowledge, improved focus, reduced stress, the list goes on. So I decided to make it a priority. Instead of scrolling through social media before bed, I'd crack open a book. And you know what? It was amazing. Getting lost in a good story was the perfect way to unwind after a long day. All right, guys, let's talk about fear. We all experience it, but sometimes fear can hold us back from going after what we truly want. That's where the 5-second rule comes in. This tip is all about taking action before your brain has time to talk you out of it. The idea is simple. When you have an impulse to act on a goal, you count down from 5 and then take immediate action. No hesitation, no overthinking, just pure, unadulterated action. Sounds easy, right? Well, let me tell you, it's easier said than done. But the 5-second rule helps you break through that resistance and take control. Now, this next tip is one I've always been curious about, but also a little intimidated by mindfulness meditation. I mean, the idea of sitting still, silencing my thoughts, and achieving a state of pure zen sounded pretty daunting, especially for someone with a mind that races a mile a minute. But with all the hype surrounding mindfulness and its countless benefits, I knew I had to give it a try. So I found a quiet spot, closed my eyes, and focused on my breath. And let me tell you, it was harder than it looked. My mind was like a room full of monkeys, each one vying for my attention. But as I continued to practice, I started to notice subtle shifts. All right, guys, for our final self-improvement challenge, we're going beyond ourselves and spreading positivity into the world with random acts of kindness. Now, this one might seem simple, but don't underestimate the power of small gestures. A genuine compliment, a helping hand, a simple act of generosity can make a world of difference in someone's day. And the best part? It doesn't have to be anything grand or expensive. So for a whole week, I made a conscious effort to incorporate random acts of kindness into my daily routine. And you know what? It felt amazing. Seeing the smiles on people's faces and knowing that I had brightened their day filled me with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. So there you have it, guys. 10 Reddit self-improvement tips put to the test. Did they all work miracles? Not exactly. But each one taught me valuable lessons about productivity, mindset, and self-care. Some, like the 2-minute rule and the Pomodoro Technique, became instant staples in my daily routine. Others, like cold showers and mindfulness meditation, required a bit more effort but ultimately proved to be incredibly rewarding. The biggest takeaway? Self-improvement is a journey, not a destination. So, what are your favorite self-improvement tips? Let me know in the comments below and suggest other videos you'd like to see from me.